Hello, and this is Chrissy Incognito. Welcome to my channel. I'd like to say before I start of why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I otherwise couldn't say unless I was incognito. So, welcome. This particular episode is going to be entitled Psychology Student. Okay, so let's take it back a little bit. We don't really hide anything much on the Chrissy Incognito show, just our identity. So let me go back and I've talked about my mental illness and I've talked about somewhere in there I brought up that probably my panic disorder, panic attacks, anxiety started in first grade. Um, so there was obviously something wrong. Okay, so my brain was not working properly, appropriately, because other people weren't reacting like this. And so I knew that there was stuff wrong, but I just did not know how to articulate it, or even make identify what it was. So that was about the first grade. Now, as far as my being a student, I have a learning disability, which to me it's pretty on par with my brain is not working. It's not working. I mean, it's just not working the way others do. And so I have a learning disability, and that was um pretty apparent in the first grade. So they made me repeat the first grade. And so if you ask me, well, what is it that you what's wrong? I don't have dyslexia. I don't have all of the other common learning disabilities. It just takes me longer to understand it. So as I grew older, I learned different ways to overcompensate for it. So I would be working twice the amount that a normal student would and simply get C. Okay. So I'm not really sure what it is. I'm horrible in foreign languages. I cannot do that. It is too complicated where normal, average people can do a semester of something and it amount to something. They could say words or they could read some like basic stuff. It is literally doesn't like I hear it and I see it and I can say, "Oh, that word is similar to English," but it's just does not I don't have the ability for language. So I like things that are um non-language oriented. So the computer, yes, to type things you have to spell and all of that kind of stuff, but it's really a non-verbal system. Everything is visual. Everything is it's just very visual. You go, you see file, you see insert, you see layout, you see review. That's all visual. So it's much easier for me to now navigate that than if I were to read a bunch of instructions on it. So anyway, my parents were very supportive about it. They weren't like they weren't maybe the typical parents of that time that would have said you're not trying hard enough or what's wrong with you or punish me or anything like that. Basically, they were like if she needs extra help, that's what will get her. It still didn't make a difference, and I'm going to tell you why. I had this difficulty, but part of the difficulty was my interest in it. I did not have an interest in whatever they were talking about. When I but the students probably didn't have an interest in either, but they were able to follow along or they were able to retain it. Unless I'm specifically interested in it and I know what you're trying to do, I'm just like, it just flew over my head. Like, because to me it was nonsensical, right? Meaning all these like grammar rules and structure sentences, it's just so boring, and it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean anything to me as a kid. Um, it's just you're going about like, okay, this goes here and that goes here, and if that follows that, then that doesn't go. So to me, it like as an adult, I understand all of it. Meaning, I understand that there has to be a sentence structure that we follow, okay? And different um exceptions to the rule and all of that stuff. But as a kid, because I wasn't interested in it, I really didn't pay attention to it. And I wasn't able to retain it as a result of not being interested in it. It was just work. So I think I had a really big disadvantage. I'm sure the other kids weren't really interested in it either, but they had the ability to do the requirements, and I was not. So, um, so I got held back, and it was my parents always praised me when I got C's, which meant I was doing what I was supposed to. And if I got a B occasionally, that was like getting an A for me. So my parents acknowledged it, and they were basically like, if you can do C work and that's you putting in effort and doing everything, then you need to do C work. Meaning, I can't fall below that. If I'm capable of that, then I can't fall below that. And that was fine. And that lasted up until Eric, which is another episode entitled Eric. I was doing C and B, very average. It's acceptable. And then Eric came along and that was it. Like I didn't have the ability to keep up and not pay attention. I didn't have the ability to follow along. I certainly didn't want to follow along or understand it because it was boring. And so that's just what it was. I tried somewhat in high school, but again, I was not interested in it. It was just a bunch of stuff that just meant nothing. Um, like I understood for the here and now, it meant something, right? To learn a language was part of the education system, but I didn't see a bigger purpose for it. And I certainly wasn't interested in whatever it was. So when I got to be to go to college, first I wanted to be a teacher. Um, I'm not really sure why, but I wanted to be a teacher. And then somewhere in there, I changed to psychology because I had all of these issues. And part of it, I wanted to understand it better. And then part of it was just I don't know, like, I don't know if it was to necessarily help myself. I did feel that I wanted to help other people. I wanted to help other people that were like me, who was just average, and just having difficulties, right? It's like sometimes what happens, people develop um, psychological symptoms due to abuse or trauma, right? So I just wanted to deal with average people that were having these not so average problems. It was like my friend who was who's a speech therapist. She said, "I just wanted to work with the lispers. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want really severe cases of speech disorders or, speech pathology. She just wanted to work with the basic kid that was having just a problem that could be treated. Because unfortunately, when it's so severe, it's just not going to go anywhere. But that's a different discussion. So I started to major in psychology. Now, the thing is that for the first 2 years, you have to do the general requirements. Well, the general requirements are boring. Um,